Hi, I'm Jason from Pete and Jake's Hot Rod Parts. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. We're here with the California Kid, and we're also here with the California Kid Express. Next to me is Bill Paul. He's the one that owns the California Kid Express. And through the years, he's been with us at many shows, just a good friend. And the California Kid is what inspired him to build the truck. A little history about the California Kid. This year it's 50 years old, celebrating 50 years of Pete and Jake's Hot Rod Parts as well as the California Kid. 1973 is when the car was done. The car was built by Pete Chaporis, the original Pete from Pete and Jake's. And the Rod and Custom issue back behind us, that was the 1973 Rod and Custom that also had Jake's Coupe. So Jim Jacobs was instrumental in Pete and Jake's as well as Pete. So this year we're able to celebrate our 50th anniversary. The car was in the movie The California Kid in 1974, made for TV movie. The car, of course, today we always have multiple stunt cars. Back then, this was the only car they used. The car didn't get beat up too bad. Those of you that have seen the movie, most of the movie shots were done in a time frame of about 2 weeks. And Jake was there on site to take care of the car and build anything that they needed special for it, including the rear bumper that, once again, any of you that's seen the movie saw the sheriff come up and push behind it. Jake was the one that built that. It was also a camera stand. But the old car fared fairly well. It's still got the original paint on it. Here we are 50 years later. The old lacquer job that Dale Caulfield put on it is still holding up well. And the car was flamed and pinstriped by Manuel Reyes. Also a good friend as well. But 50 years later, it's fun to see people's expression when they see the car, if they've never seen it before. Just one of those cars that just instrumental in our industry, especially within our family. We ended up purchasing Pete and Jake's back in 1986 from Pete and Jake. My dad, Jerry Slover, and my mom, Peggy Slover, were two of the original Pete and Jake's dealers back in the early 70s. And we've continued the tradition throughout these last 38 years. And this year we're just excited to share 50 years of not only our business, but the car as well. And the 50th year, Bill decided to debut the truck. And the California Kid Express just recently won the Good Guys Street Rod of the Year. So it's turning out to be a great year for us. And we just wanted to bring the car down here to celebrate with everyone. So here I want to introduce the California Kid Express and also Bill Paul, the owner of it. Bill's a great family friend, and he just wanted, he's been inspired, like so many people, been inspired by the California Kid, and he approached me going on 12 years ago now, asking about building a truck. And what a beautiful truck. I look at it as a piece of artwork. All those that have been involved in it, it's absolutely amazing. And also, as I said earlier, just recently won the Good Guys Street Rod of the Year. So I want to introduce Bill, and he can tell you a little more about the truck.
Thank you, Jason. I started about 12 years ago with the inspiration of what if they'd have built a shop truck to go with the car in 1974? What might it look like? And everyone that knows the 34 Ford pickup, they're not very sexy. So I decided to put the spin on it of having a car front end on a truck. So it started life as a 1934 four-door sedan, and the back of the four-door sedan was cut off, and the whole back of the cab then was hand-formed. The bed was hand-formed. The fenders, the running boards have all been hand-formed out of flat sheet metal and hand-fabricated to make a truck. And this is my impression of this truck when we started was this is the truck that Henry Ford should have built. It's a lot, the car tooling is a lot more sexy in the front end than a traditional 34 Ford truck. So the 34 Ford pickup we built is the truck that never was. There's a lot of, I won't say smoke and mirrors that go with the truck, but the wood itself in the back, the bed rails and the bed planks are all steel, and to pay tribute to all the metal work that was done on the truck and all the metal workers. So it was painted, one, so we could capture the correct color and not make a feature out of the wood, but an accent. And that's what's challenging when you get in a build this far is to make sure things are accents and not overwhelm the actual construction of what we're trying to accomplish, which is to pay homage to the California Kid and Pete and Jake's hot rod parts. The truck being built 50 years later, there's a lot of changes in technology that have happened through that time period. The seat itself is a 55 Ford station wagon back seat. That's where we started. Classic instruments, gauges, EVOD steering wheel, vintage fabrication, all leather interior, all custom one-off design by Jimmy Smith, Hot Rod Designs, who was the artist that gave us the actual rendition of the entire truck when we went out and said, here's what we want to build. So the original California Kid has a small block Ford in it. So when we built the truck, obviously we stuck with a Ford and a Ford. So it has a 347 Ford Motorsports small block Ford and a Ford C4 transmission. It's all Pete and Jake's chassis for obvious reasons. The Pete and Jake's 4-bar in the back. It's a truck and not a car in that sense. So it has a 4-link in the back rather than a ladder bar like the car has. It's a 5-inch tube dropped axle. The Kid has a 4-inch. We went with a little bit different drop, so we have a lower stance to the car. Again, technology today has allowed us to do some things a little differently than we did 50 years ago. One thing that I had an advantage of is I live 8 miles from the shop where Pete and Jake's is in Peculiar, Missouri. So I was able to go and actually trace the exact flame pattern. My painter and I went and traced it, so we were able to transfer that exact flame pattern onto the truck. So from the front, they look like mirror images. For the rest of this year, we plan on the truck and the car being together at several events. We're going next weekend to Hot Wheels Legend Tour in Indianapolis on August 10th. We'll be in the Triple Crown of Rodding in September in Nashville. The car and the truck will be together at The Rock in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Then the car will actually be driven from Peculiar, Missouri to Bartlesville to participate in that event. The truck this year, we're doing the show circuit. Next year, we're going to get it out and drive it more and more and more and enjoy it with the rest of our friends and family.